Hello, mamas. So today I am going to talk to you about something hard, something very difficult for me to talk about, but we have to talk about it because it's very important. I'm going to talk to you about my struggle. You heard me, my struggle. Yes, the lady with the blue hair has struggles. So I have two wonderful daughters. One is 8 years old and the other one is 2 years old. I had terrible, listen to me now, terrible pregnancies with both of them. And with my first daughter, I was a little naive. I took care of myself. I tried my best. It was terrible, but I pushed through it. And I just knew it doesn't matter what I gotta go through. My baby's gonna come and she's gonna be healthy. She's gonna be wonderful and happy. And it's all gonna be great. And I was blessed. And my baby was born 41 weeks. She didn't want to come C-section because she was determined to stay inside of me. And she was a healthy baby. She was 8 pounds, 2 ounces. She was just wonderful, just gorgeous. And I had her, and it was great until 2.5 years old. She had to have tonsil surgery because she has severe sleep apnea, severe obstructive sleep apnea. And she couldn't breathe, and she would stop breathing all the time, and it was terrifying. Then I didn't want to have any more kids because it was so traumatic. Quite frankly, it was very, very hard to have the pregnancy mostly. So I didn't want to get pregnant again. But then, I had Sophia, and I tried for 9 months to get pregnant, and it was hard to get pregnant with her. And I finally did, and it was another terrifying pregnancy. I was in and out of the hospital, emergency rooms, contractions, throwing up until the day I had her, you name it. And again, I was like, well, I did this again. I'll have a healthy baby at the end of this. None of this is going to matter. All of it is going to be fine. Because what? This time I didn't get a healthy baby. Far from it, actually. The first time that they brought her out, she was fine. I tried to breastfeed her. It was wonderful. Then she was choking over and over again, and they were saying, no, she's just choking on her fluids, it's normal. The nurses kind of hurt her mouth, suctioning, and then she didn't want to eat. So she lost 1 pound before she left the hospital. So now my baby was 5 pounds. The doctor barely let me take her home, and that was very scary, very, very scary. So here I am with this baby at home that barely wants to eat. We had to drop feed her. We tried I want to say about 20 different bottles to get her to drink one. I tried Shields to breastfeed her. And it was just the more time went by, the more difficult it got for her to eat. She was about almost a month old, and it was the worst night of my life. So we tried to feed her, and she would throw up. She would choke so much she couldn't breathe. So she barely ate anything that night. So that morning, thankfully it was summer, and my oldest daughter was at home with me. And for a miracle, she happened to wake up early. And I said, all right, let's just go to the doctor. I had a wonderful lady, my nanny. She actually saved Sophia's life. There was 4 of us in the car. So it was Sophie, Josefa, me, and Sophia, Josefa, AC, and myself. I was by myself driving in the front, and the 3 of them were in the back. I was driving, and I remember talking to my dad, telling him how stressful and how worried I was about Sophia. And all of a sudden, Josefa looked at me. She says, Ale, Sophia's not breathing. I threw my phone. I don't even know where it went. I threw my phone, and I looked back, and she had my daughter off the car seat while we were driving because she wasn't breathing. She had flipped her over, and she was hitting her in the back, trying to bring her back. All of a sudden, Sophia threw up through her nose, took one breath, and stopped breathing again. At that moment, my world ended. It was the most terrifying thing in the world. I was locked in traffic. There was nowhere for me to go. It was 9 o'clock in the morning. I was heading to the specialist because we had taken her to the primary care, and the primary care said we need to take her to the specialist because it was not normal that she was not able to eat. So at that point, I just called 911 and I said, my baby's not breathing. She's choking. They said, pull over. I said, all right. But then I saw the exit and I was like, oh, wait a minute. So I saw the exit and I knew I was close to Children's Hospital. So I pulled over. I took off the exit and I went to Children's Hospital. I left the car on the front. I grabbed my daughter, the smallest one. I asked Josefa to take care of Izzy, and I just ran into the hospital like a crazy lady saying my baby's not breathing, or she's choking, she's not breathing. At that point, thankfully, because Josefa kept stimulating her and kept trying to get her to breathe, she was back to her senses again. So I'm in the hospital. I ran into the hospital like a crazy lady, and I tell them, hey, my baby's choking, she's not breathing, she's only a month old, help me. They're, checked her in. They end up putting her in the hospital for a whole week, and they ended up determining that she not only had laryngomalacia, which is a defect in her throat, and the vocal cords, the tissue was flapping down, so every time she tried to eat, she would choke, and it was really hard for her to swallow. That's one of the reasons she didn't want to eat. And then on top of that, she had severe acid reflux. So they ended up putting a feeding tube in her nose. And they were trying to make sure that there was nothing else wrong with her. They did a bunch of swallow tests, ultrasounds, MRIs, IVs, medications. It was devastating to see a month-old baby. So we take her to the rest of the specialists, and then they tell me, oh, guess what? She has 2 heart murmurs as well. And so now we're counting laryngomalacia, severe acid reflux, failure to thrive, because she's not eating, feeding tubes, apnea monitors, 2 heart murmurs, and kidney reflux. And I'm pissed at the world. I'm pissed at everybody. And I'm wondering, what did I do? Right? But I didn't do anything. It wasn't my fault. It wasn't her fault. It was nobody's fault. All of it was just, I don't know, to make us stronger, or so that I could be here talking to you about it. I don't know. But what I know is that we made it through. So here's what they tell me. All right. My baby has to take about 7 medications a day. She has to be fed at least every hour on the hour. All right, she has to take antibiotics every day. Okay, so we got that under control. And I'm like, all right, we're heading out of this. She's getting better. She has no more UTIs. We're doing good. Then she starts having ear infections. Back to back to back to back. And I'm like, come on, are you serious now? So before she was 2, she was only, I want to say 14 months old. She had to have tubes put in her ears. Another thing we have to overcome. I carried this baby on my chest for about 8 months of her life because she couldn't breathe, because she was sick all the time. She always had a fever. She was just this thing, and she was so beautiful. She had the most beautiful eyes and the most beautiful smile. She was so happy, and people that would see her would never understand how terrifying my day was with her. And I would say, my baby's not eating, and they would say, but she's chubby, she looks fine. And I'm like, but you don't know the half of it. She won't eat more than 4 ounces of formula, and the reason she's chubby is because I keep feeding her every hour on the hour, and her formula is fortified 3 times what it should be. My baby was 11 months old, and she was drinking 4 ounces of formula at the time. And not because she wanted to. So I felt like a crazy person. Because I tell people my baby's sick, and they would look at me like, how? And then I would tell them, but it wasn't like you could see it. It was all inside of her organs. None of it was outside. So I felt very alone. So here I am with a sick baby, 7-year-old, a failing marriage. I don't have a job. I don't have anything means to support myself because this baby is requiring me to be there for her all the time. I lost my car, losing my house. That's it. I don't know. I'm just living minute by the minute, and my only priority is to keep this baby alive. But then I had to figure something out. There had to be a better way than keeping her medications for 4 years. There had to be a better way than me being exhausted every day and crying 3-4 times a day with no resolution and not feeling any better than I was before. So I discovered health coaching, and that changed everything. That changed everything. And it changed everything because it gave me the tools to be strong, to be in the right mindset, to take care of myself, to understand that if I prioritize myself, then I have everything to give to both of my children. If I work out, then I'm strong, and I have patience, and I'm better than if I don't. If I eat good foods and I keep myself healthy, then I'm in turn keeping my kids healthy, and I'm providing them the same nutrients and foods they need to overcome whatever they're going through. Now, I can't tell you that just because you work with me, your baby's going to be healthy. I wish I had that magic wand. Gosh, I wish I did. But I don't. But what I do have is a system, is a program, is support for you, so that you could be what your baby needs, so that you could be mindset, like your mind can be stable and it can be grounded, and you can make sound decisions that are gonna determine your baby's health, so that you could be physically strong to withstand all-nighters and craziness that happens with tragedies come to our life. I can help you there. I can help you get back to who you used to be, or better. And most importantly, I can help you so that your relationship doesn't fall apart while you're going through this. Because the statistics say that most marriages don't withstand tragedies, especially when they have to do with our children. But I'm here to say that that's a bunch of bull, and that we can change that. It doesn't have to be like that for you. I can help you with that. I know that whether you work with me or not, you're going to make it out of this. I have no doubt about it. You're going to be fine. But in the process of going through this without help and without support, there's a big chance that you're going to lose yourself. You're going to lose your marriage. You're going to lose your ability to stand on your own 2 feet. And you're going to look back and you're not going to know where to find yourself. And I don't want that for you, because I was there, and it's terrible. And I've seen other mothers go through that, and it's nothing I will wish upon anybody. So you're going to make it. Hear me. You are going to make it out of this. No matter what the outcome is, you're going to survive this. But I want you to survive it the best way possible. And I have the tools for that. Okay? So here's what we're going to do now, all right? There is a link below. I want you to click on it. It's going to ask you for your email address. It's just so that you can have access to the rest of my website. And I want to know that you're serious about working with me and finding out how different your life can be when, even with tragedy and chaos happens, there are ways around it. So put your information below, and I'll see you on the other side. We'll go from there. So one step at a time. All right? I'll see you soon. Thank you for listening to my story. Thank you for hanging out with me. I know your time is precious, so I'm trying not to waste it. So let's just get to it. All right? Bye, Mama.